Welcome to the Conscious Life Expo. You're on planet Earth, how's that? And you're going to have a ton of fun. Lori Spagna is really the preeminent researcher, author, and healer, and so many things that deals in fifth dimensional frequency. And also to tell you that you are actually surrounded by the divine intelligence. And we all have that ability to tap into that divine intelligence for our own healing. So what she does is tends to awaken you to your own divine ability to tap into that divine intelligence. Because after all, you are the ratios, you're the transition tube, you're the ones that make the difference. And you also want to go home and make the difference with your pets, because that way when you get home, you can say, sit down, you got a minute? And you can talk to your pets and everything. Welcome the very lovely Lori.
Okay, so, all right, so let's get started. I'm going to try to keep it to like 3 minutes about my background, and I'm going to go through it really quick because I know a lot of you are new to me. So, my name is Lori Spagna. For more than 20 years, I've been helping humans and animals to transform their lives by aligning with divine source consciousness. What do I mean by divine source consciousness? Infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, infinite consciousness. What is infinite? What does that mean? Unfathomable. Like unknown potential. And what is that potential? It is that divine source's infinite love, infinite peace. And that exists within us, within each and every one of us. It's not outside of us. The only part of it that's outside of us is that which emanates from us. So for more than 20 years, I've been working with people and animals with animal communication and telepathy. Hello. Hi, John. John, right? Yes, welcome. And animal communication and telepathy, intuitive development, like really working with intuitive beings. I'm really awesome. Like this is one of my greatest talents, of being able to work with the non-physical realm and translate very complicated information to help us understand and discern and navigate our physical reality with the support of the non-physical divine realm, right? So I'm really good at that. I do that, and I do what's called sacred key code activations and DNA activations. Has anyone heard of this? Yeah? Was anyone on the Ascension panel yesterday? You guys see me at the Ascension panel? Okay, it's an awesome panel, right? So, okay, so sacred key code activations and dormant DNA activations, we'll talk about that today. And I'm a multi-dimensional channel, which basically means I'm able to access at least 12 dimensions of information. We have way more than 12 dimensions, but I'm able to access at least to the 12th. I think the 13th I've just recently been accessing, of information. And when I say information, I don't mean just information the way the left brain take information and analyze it. I'm talking about energetic frequencies, vibrations, variations of light and sound and consciousness in ways that are even beyond description in our physical reality. So these are the things I do, and I'm a healer. So what is a healer? I'm working with the divine source to receive direction and guidance on what any individual person or animal needs so that they can realign with what I call their original divine blueprint. We'll talk about that today. The original divine blueprint is a state that all humans have and animals, and it includes perfect and ideal health and well-being, and living your fullest and greatest life, richest, most perfect, ideal life, right? That's in your original divine blueprint. We just didn't even know it was there. It's also in the DNA. So these are the things I do. Just briefly on my background. Hello, you guys. Yeah, so there's some seats up here, you guys, and you can definitely, if you're comfortable on the floor, there's some seats up in the front. So, yeah, just really quickly on my background. You know, I grew up in a very what I call a 3D family. We'll talk about that. You know, they just didn't believe in any of this stuff. You've seen that show, Growing Up Psychic? I'm like one of those kinds of kids. But I really didn't know that's what I had. I didn't really understand. I just thought I knew things. I thought other people got it too. And what ended up happening at a certain point in my life was my brother died of an unexpected drug overdose. I started hearing him from, you know, beyond the veil, however you want to call it, and he would come to me like it was a joke, and he was a really funny comedian kind of guy, and he would say, "Hello, it's your dead brother Jeff," in a New York accent. And he'd be like, "No, you're not crazy." And I'd hear him say things like, "Test me," and I would do certain kinds of like, well, if I'm not crazy, show me this, do that, you know. And it wasn't like drop a chandelier from the ceiling, but it was that kind of stuff. And ultimately, it became very obvious that I was not crazy, but my ex-husband at that, my soon-to-be ex-husband thought I was, he divorced me. I ended up pursuing my dreams, which at that point I thought was just going to be like the next Cesar Millan dog trainer. So I started as a dog trainer, and while I was working with the dogs, I would hear the dogs in my head say, "You listen to me, and I will teach you." So I got a really good education from animals, because that's really my love for animals. You want to know what your path is? Follow your love. Just do what you love, as fully and completely as you can. But I would listen to the animals, and they kept teaching me and training me, and then one thing led to the next. I became a Reiki master. I started getting involved with all kinds of healing arts. I do all kinds of different modalities of healing, and eventually through that process, I just kept getting aligned with Source. And the really pivotal time for me, and then I'll finish my story, was when at one point I was living in Maui for 2 years. I was meditating every night. I was just doing at that time what I thought you had to do to get aligned with the divine. I was practicing stillness, breath work, the whole thing that you hear about here. And I had some incredible, what we would call near-death experiences, but it wasn't like in a hospital. So I never, they were definitely transcending the body, the physical form, going into beyond altered states where there was no physical reality and where there was no physical body. And these states are so blissful and euphoric, and you have these amazing experiences that no one can ever tell you aren't real. That's why experience is known. And then in that time, also in Maui, I had what I call an induction experience. Do you guys know what that is? An induction experience? Has anyone heard this word? Have you heard the word first contact? Yes. Okay. So an induction experience is a contactee experience where your home family, your star family, calls you back home onto a ship. You could call it a ship. And they remind you who you are. And they activate you and awaken you because they understand there's a mission here on planet Earth. And you receive your mission and your guidance and your directions. You had to be hidden among the masses as a regular human. You start to awaken to who you are, and suddenly, like out of nowhere, all these gifts come on. This is how I learned to do everything I do. It really wasn't something I learned here. It was something that was awakened in me. So just really, because I'm just one of the people here to help through this shift of consciousness, yeah? So, and then the last thing I'll just say about my true mission also has so much to do with being a voice for the animal kingdom and what they have to share with us through this shift, yeah? Makes sense, right? So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. All right, so let's talk about what you guys are really here for with that understanding and where this is coming from. All right, so we all know we're in this evolutionary process, right? Oh, what I'm going to try to do, I want to keep my time on. I want to give you some healing today, if we can do that. Do you guys want some healing? Yeah, energy healing? So we have until at least 1:30, right? I have until 1:30? 2. I have until 2. 1:30. Okay. And I always push it. So, all right. So we'll do like a little less than an hour of talking, or about an hour of talking, and then a half an hour of feeling. Okay? With a meditation. So you can ask questions. Don't feel stupid or anything. Remember, you're just being given a frequency of information. It's not as much about digesting the information as much as it is willing to receive that frequency. Because you'll just tune into it, and you'll be amazed how it shifts you. Okay, but with that said, let's start with fifth dimension. So what is fifth dimensional reality? What is it? Who knows? Who has an answer, an idea?
Fifth dimension?
Yes.
Non-physical, higher consciousness.
Okay. All right. That's a good place to start there. And let me ask this. Who is waiting for an event, or who believes there's some event that's supposed to happen? Okay, the event has already happened, and it's here now. So when someone tells you you're waiting for an event, don't believe them, because they're being programmed to believe that you have to wait for something, which postpones your own evolution, right? We're not waiting for anything. The event is here and now. It has already happened. The only issue is that humans who don't know that it's happened, if they're either waiting for an event, or they are waiting for something to happen, or they don't know about it, they can miss it. But it's happening. It's already here. All right, now, what the event really is, what's happening is that we are being up-leveled from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness. So what is third dimension? Let's start there. What's third dimension?
Dense.
Density. duality,
Physical.
light and space. Okay, so this is how I define third dimension. There's some seats right here. You can grab this chair. You want? You like that? Okay, and there's one over here, and there's one over here. Raise your hand if you have a seat next to you. Awesome, there's some seats. Come on in. All right, so third dimensional reality is what I call separation and duality. So that's where we believe we're separate from everyone else, and it's a very survival-based reality. And in this survival-based reality, that's basically about, hello, come on in. Hello, family, welcome. So this survival-based reality that's based in separation and duality is really fear-based. The energy and the frequency of this third dimensional reality is based in a frequency of fear. That's why it's so dense, it's heavy. And this survival concept is based on certain principles that are deeply instilled into us from all of our human existence in this lifetime. So these deep principles are divide and conquer. That's one of the big ones. What is divide and conquer? Who has an example of divide and conquer? Democrats. I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm a Jew and you're a Catholic. I'm black and you're white. I live in India, you live in Russia. That is divide and conquer. It's global. It is so pervasive because it weakens us when we are in division. That's third dimension. Third dimension. I need to go to my doctor. My doctor is the one who fixes me. That's third dimension. My teacher gives me an A. I'm not worth anything if my teacher doesn't give me an A. I'm a bad student if my teacher doesn't give me an A. That's third dimension. Make sense? Third dimension. The lawyers told me I have to do this. The banking system requires this. My boss is an asshole. I don't like him. That's third dimension. My mother-in-law is a bitch. That's third dimension, right? This person's driving me crazy. That's third dimension. I can't afford it. That's third dimension, right? We understand this. We all know this really well. I don't like him. I don't like her. That person bugs me. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is impossible. That won't work. You get constricted into this little box. Before you know, you're just like a little robot. That's what happens in third dimension. And we've all been living there. Now, let me tell you what keeps third dimension in place. Fear. We know that because it's a fear-based frequency. But third, the biggest thing, people will tell you that what keeps third dimension in place is judgment. And there's truth to that. However, there's something else bigger, even, that keeps third dimension in place. Thank you, thank you. What keeps third dimension in place, and this is, I don't mean to push anyone's buttons, but we're here to wake up, right? Are we all here to wake up?
Yes.
What keeps third dimension in place is our willingness to be in fear, ignorance, and denial. So for as long as we want to stay ignorant as a society, third dimension will continue to be in place. As long as we want to be in denial, as long as we stay in fear or separation, we stay in 3D. Now, we don't want to stay there. That's not why we're here. So how do we get to 5D? I haven't talked about that yet, but let's talk. The way to get to 5D is you have to cross through 4D, right? Now, let's come back to 4D. Let's talk about 5D first. I like to do it that way, because we want to know where we're going, right? So 5D, the frequency and the vibration of fifth dimension is based in love. What else is it based in?
Self-love.
Peace, harmony. Hello, come on in. Hello.
Oneness.
Oneness, unity, consciousness, and service to the greater good. Service. Yes, truth, honesty, integrity. These frequencies are harmonious with the frequencies of love and peace. Love, peace, joy. So the idea is to shift from here to 5D. Now, what are the things that go on in 5D? Things that go on in 5D is you start breaking rules and laws that are stupid. I don't mean laws. I don't expect you to break laws. But to start questioning stupid laws. You start refusing to do things just because you're told to do them. You start refusing to hate or judge or buy into the separation and the divide and conquer mentality. You refuse it. And in fact, if something sucks you into that, you come over here to 5D, because what governs 5D is the same thing that governs 3D. But here in 5D, you know what it is. What is it? Does anyone know? Universal laws. You have to know the universal laws. So I'm going to give you the most important universal law at this time, which someone's already said it, is the law of one, which is the law of love, which is the law of the creation. It's all the same law. It's the law of creation. You are a creator being. We're creator beings here. We just don't know it. We're in ignorance. We don't know. We're in denial. Over here, we know it. We're creator beings. And we want to vibrate in harmony with the frequencies of love, right? So we follow the law. What is the law of love? Let me love, let me forgive. If I'm getting pulled back into here, then I need to look, how is this helping me love more? How is this helping and serving me? What is so good about this experience that I'm missing? I'm missing something because here I am down here in this like heavy density. I'm like hating someone, not liking something, whatever, judging something, right? Make sense? Everyone with me? Anyone not with me so far? Okay, so this is what goes on in 5D. Now I'm going to give you another really important universal law. There's lots of them, but the top ones, for at least for now, is, does anyone know what the other one, another really big law is, universal law?
Attraction.
Well, reciprocity is one, that's,
Attraction.
well, that's one, but this is where your greatest power lies. The law of intent, consent, and authority. Otherwise known as the law of free will. Now, once you understand how powerful this law is, you can't really get trapped in here too much more. Because the law knows itself as a law. It knows it's a law. There's consciousness in everything. Can we agree to that? Can we understand this? There is consciousness in everything. The only issue is how conscious is someone or something of themselves. The law knows itself as a law. It knows it's a law. It's hard to imagine that. So when you start calling on the law of free will and say, oh, this is against my free will. I don't agree to this anymore now that I know. The law will actually start changing the reality. Because the law is saying, oh, this person never voted against this before. They were just allowing it. Over here, you didn't know. You see how powerful you are over here? You can't control another person, but you can control your reality. Just by working with the law of free will. It's a powerful tool. Make sense? All right, so 5D. We're talking still about 5D. Now in 5D, because these frequencies are based in harmonious resonance with love, peace, harmony, kindness, compassion, understanding, those are the frequencies. Those frequencies do not tolerate or allow the frequencies here. So in other words, over here, you can get sick. You can get ill. Your judgment. What is the root cause, by the way? This is one of my separate class altogether. But what is the root cause of all sickness and illness?
Stress.
Anger, streak, mucus, belief is a good one, but it's lower. Fear, that's good. But here's the root cause. Vibration. So what is, the vibration of all illness vibrates in harmony with some form of fear. Some form of fear, because this third dimensional reality is a fear-based reality. This is where you get sick. I can tell you, I'm living over here in 5D, and I want everybody else to come here too. We're all going there. But over here in 5D, you don't get sick. Why? Because these frequencies do not harmonize with illness. I haven't been to a doctor in 10 years, nor has my dog. I haven't needed one, nor has she. Thank you.
Wow.
So, okay, so we have kind of an understanding over here in 5D. You're really all about love. You're doing your best. You understand that you might get pulled back slightly here from time to time, but the overall idea is that you want to carry and embody these energies and these frequencies that are harmonious with service to the collective, because now you recognize you're part of the one and so is everybody else. And it's not just left brain. We don't just think about it. Actually, we shift. In 5D, over here we're operating from here, left brain, right? We're thinking, we're analyzing, we're figuring, we're determining. It's a very stress kind of frequency, right? This is how the body starts to adapt. This is where the illness forms. These are all vibrations that create stress-based illness. Make sense? Everyone with me? Over here, because you're operating in love, this is what it looks like and feels like. Now, how do you do that? How do you drop out of the brain into a whole different frequency in a matter of moments? And if I stayed here for even a few more moments, you'd all get here right with me because you'd attune to me really fast. Why? Through the heart center. The heart center is magnetic. Over here, this is electric. Electricity creates lightning, bolts, sharp, fiery, fast creation energy. But over here we have magnetism. Magnetism attracts, magnetism flows, magnetism emanates, Magnetism feels good, right? You feel that right there. It's even coming from you, I can feel it. Your head shaking, you're in this peaceful state, right? Feels good. So in 5D, we're functioning from our heart center. Now this is the biggest challenge because the bulk of humanity is still functioning from the left brain. Trying to figure things out. You loop, trying to figure things out, trying to make sense of things, trying to have discernment. It's stressful. Make sense? Everyone with me? Now, so over here we operate from the heart center. We follow universal laws. We understand we're interested in the greater good of all with harm to none. I'm going to give you everyone something to write down that will change your life forever. Write it down. You want this. Every day, as often as you can think of it, whenever you can think of it, you want to say, what is the highest and best possibility for me, for my life and my life journey in the most benevolent way possible? So good. It will change your life.
Say that again.
Just as often as you can, whenever you can. I want the highest and best possibility for me, for my life. What is the highest and best and most benevolent possibility for my life? Has anyone in this room asked that question before? I doubt it. I bet most people haven't. Okay, I've got a couple of hands up. But really, when you start asking that question over and over again without trying to find the answer, not like a mantra, just whenever you think about it, the universe is going to conform to you and you're going to step onto that timeline of reality. I'm going to talk about timelines, I want to talk about waves. But I first got to cover 3D. So you're going to remind me timelines and waves, okay? Okay. Is everyone with me here? Anyone lost yet? Okay, good. Now, let's talk about 4D. So we understand 5D, right? We got that concept. And you understand, in order to be here, you have to be at that frequency. So if you're not at that frequency, you kind of get kicked out in a way. Not because you can't get there, but just because it means you have work to work through here. Energetic baggage, right? And I'll just tell you what stands at the door between 3D and 4D, and ultimately 4D and 5D. What is this? Does anyone know what the frequency is? It's a vibration of frequency.
Forgiveness.
That is very, very close, and that is true. It's actually compassion. Why? Because if we cannot be compassionate for every other being, we can't even get in here, really. Because we have to understand that every other being is, to some degree, an emanation of our own self, to some degree. And every person, there's not a person on the planet who's gotten here in 5D who hasn't gone through a lot of painful emotional stuff. You have to work through your stuff. Make sense? You have to leave your baggage behind. Okay, now let's talk about 4D. All right, we're good to go on? What is 4D? Who knows what 4D is? I know you know. It's the distance between. It's a non-physical realm. Let me just say one other thing about 5D that I always say I didn't say. 5D is based in 3 dimensions. The third dimensional consciousness. What are the 3 dimensions? That's a good guess, but it's not.
Oh, height.
Here's 5D. Space, which is height, width, and depth. That's space. That's a dimension. I'm sorry, 3D. Thank you. Space, distance, right? Well, time is often called a dimension, but it's actually not. Time exists in 4D. I'll explain that. But space, because space is real. There's a space between you and I. Time is a construct. I'll explain it a little better. So space exists in third dimensional reality. There's a space between you and I. That's like separation, right? The other 2 things, dimensions that exist in third dimensional reality is light, which includes colors. Makes sense, right? And sound. We can hear. That's 3D. If you can't see it, if you can't touch it, taste it, feel it, it's not real, right? Isn't that what we believe in 3D? Okay, 4D is the non-physical realm. So, what goes on in 4D? Where do your thoughts go? Where do your thoughts come from? Where do your emotions go? Where do your emotions come from? Where are all thoughts that have ever been thought stored? That's 4D. Where do you think people and animals go when they leave 3D, but their consciousness exists? Consciousness is in infinity. Remember when we started this presentation, we said everything's in infinite. Where does the consciousness of a living being go when the living being drops the body? It has to pass through this 4th dimensional realm. What is ghosts? Where are entities?
So what do you say is the astral plane?
Well, the astral plane is part of the 4th dimension, but it's not the totality of the 4th dimension. This 4th dimension is a vast, unknown realm that we pass through, and we come to some degree to know it, through our consciousness. The angels live here? No. But can angels come from a higher dimension into 4D to connect with us? Yes. Ascended masters, they're way up there on a higher dimensional plane. But can they come through here to connect with us? Can we have conversations with Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Krishna, Allah? Yes. And all of that happens in a fourth dimensional realm where our consciousness can meet them there. Because they can come into this non-physical realm. Make sense?
Ghosts, spirits, which one? What's the difference? Ghosts, spirits, what's the
Ghosts
You said
are
ghosts.
beings that still typically have some kind of apparition. A spirit doesn't necessarily get seen with the eye, but a ghost can be seen with the eye because it's got some kind of light body that's visible in some way, shape, or form. So they're crossing the veil between even slightly into 3D. Typically, a ghost has a belief system that they're not dead or that they still can't leave the physical reality. Does that make sense?
So if we do feel somebody who's passed, is that coming from they're communicating through the fourth?
If you're working with someone who's passed over, you're working as a fourth dimensional healer.
But if they're talking to us, okay.
You're accessing their consciousness through the fourth dimensional realm. What do you think psychics are doing? How do you think a psychic is getting their information? They're tuning in, using parts of their body, theta brainwave, typically heart center, expanded consciousness, that helps them. Hello, come on in. You can sit anywhere that you can find a spot. They're accessing a frequency of information on the fourth dimensional plane. Make sense? Okay, now, there's a lot of things that go on here, but understand this 4D has a density and a heaviness just like that, because if it's closer to 3D, it's going to be heavier. That's where you have entities, demonics, ghosts, heavy, dark energy. But over here at the lighter end of fourth dimension, you have lighter things. What are the lighter things? Yeah, and I mean, think about happiness. Where does happiness? Happiness is a lighter frequency. Feels good, joy, love. You need to be first aligned with these before you can even really vibrate into 5D. So it's this big realm. It's not all shadow. It's just there's everything there. Okay, so we have an understanding what we're talking here. 3D, 4D, 5D, yes? Let's go to time. I said waves, time. Was this timelines? Okay. Timelines is not the same thing as time, so keep reminding me. Let's go to time. Time is a belief system. Because in reality, all we ever have is now. We've heard this before, right? Anyone in this room have heard this? You're always in the now. It's just that the way our programming is, can you also write down programming? The way our consciousness is programmed is in this linear aspect that perceives linear time. So we perceive it, and we've been programmed, like computers, to believe and perceive that linear time is real. And we've been programmed to believe that it's based on the sun rises, the sun sets, there's a clock, it tells us what time it is, it's tuned into some atomic clock, right? And we have calendars and watches and all that stuff. Make sense? But in reality, if you took all that construct away, all you have is the sun rising and the sun set to believe that time passes even, right? In reality, there's always a now. The planetary bodies are moving, that's based on our consciousness, our belief systems. Does this make sense? It's a little out there. Nonetheless, time is something we created with our consciousness. We all bought into it, we all believed in it, we programmed ourselves into that, and so we had that experience. Make sense? So, if that is true, which it is, then that means everything that we're experiencing, can you also write down inside out, outside in? So that's really helpful. I usually have to keep these things in my mind. My team is telling me what to say. Yeah, you're awesome. Okay, so where was I going with that time I said? Oh, if that is true, and it is, it means everything that we're experiencing in our outer reality is a reflection of what we've been programmed to believe. It's the same thing. So if you have belief systems, where do belief systems get stored? Yes, we know they're in 4D, but in the physical reality, we can't trace belief systems, but they get stored up in your DNA. It gets stored up in your body. So if you're carrying a belief system that it's normal to age, who believes it's normal to age? Come on. I know, I'm pushing the boundaries here. It's not normal to age. We took those belief systems on and we have created that. It's not part of the original divine blueprint. When you anchor into 5D, your original divine blueprint is on. Your original divine blueprint. Once you clear out all the aging programs, you don't have to age. The future of humanity, by the way, includes 1,000-year lives. No question. Okay, yes?
Can you explain what you mean by age or by aging? Like, what does that mean?
Well, in our 3D reality, age happens every time a year passes, right? Or some marker point, which we could call a year or a month or a day, you're aging. That's our belief.
Okay.
It's not true.
Okay.
But we in 3D believe it, so we make it true. Actually, also in 3D, we believe that if your DNA tells you that you might have breast cancer, you should get your breast cut off, possibly. If you should get yourself checked for cholesterol, right? These are all shoulds and things we believe here. But what we don't understand over here is that our beliefs create our reality. That's the whole thing about time, too. It's all stored up here in 4D, fourth dimension. These beliefs that we anchor into with our consciousness, which anchor into us and are stored up in our DNA, create the reality that we experience. I once asked Divine Source Creator, what is the highest truth about aging? And do you know what I got? Aging is actually a matter of how much energy is expended without energy being replaced. I said, great, how do we replace the energy? Through Source. Ask me to continually replace your energy. Since then I stopped aging. Then I said, but how can we keep aging? Like, how come we're still aging? And I got, clear off all the aging programs. They're just programs on a computer, just like Excel's on your computer. Clear the programs. I'm like, how do I do that? I got downloads on how to do it. Now I do it in my Exiting the Matrix class. Does this make sense? It's out there. I get it. I told you guys we were out there. So, okay, so all of this stuff is stored in the DNA. But we all, hello, you can listen and you can take this here somewhere. Here you go. Anyway, sorry, grab that some of without putting anybody. Okay, so how do, all right, I know there's so many things to cover and I got a little bit of time because I'm probably already like way in here. Okay, oh good, we're there. All right, so we understand 4D, 5D, yes? Everyone with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. And we got to time. Let's talk about timelines. This is important. Oh, sorry, I'm hearing go with the DNA first. We'll go with the DNA first, then we're going to go to timelines. And if I can, I'll get a little bit of star families in there, star family races. So we have, in 3D, we have 2 strands of DNA, right? And in these 2 strands of DNA, what is it? It's the information of your ancestors, right? And basically, in 3D, you're a victim, right? Here, this is a big program in 3D, victim, victimizer. Victim, victimizer. You got to clear that out. It's a program. So anytime you go to a court system, you're programmed because you believe into victim, victimizer. Anytime you go to any outside authority for help, it's because you're either a victim, or you've been victimized, or someone else is a victim, victimizer, right? It's just part of that reality. Nothing wrong with it. Just that's an experience. We're not judging it. We're not making it wrong. Just simply is. Make sense? Okay, but over here, we know no one's a victim. We know we're creators based on what we believe and perceive and the programs that are running in our unconscious. And to the degree that we can clear those programs out, we're not victims. So over here, you know what's in your DNA is simply a reflection of what you believed or didn't believe through your lineage. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And through the healing process, as we act with Divine Source Creator Consciousness, as we access that field of potential, which goes, by the way, way beyond 5D. You understand? Creator God Consciousness is in everything, everywhere, but when you access that frequency, it's way beyond the 5th dimensional realm. Understand? Okay. When we access that, we can clear out all the programming of the DNA. I want to tell you that my father is 83 years old. He still jogs a mile, 10, I don't know what he does, a few miles every day. He still runs marathons. He runs a big corporation. That's all because I've been clearing out DNA of me. I'm doing it for my ancestors too. You understand? My mother is 80 and she still plays tennis and paddle every day and goes driving her car. So she's so young looking, you can't even believe it. Okay, so what I'm saying is we can do it for ourselves and our ancestors because you have the right to do that as a light worker over here when you're working for the greater good of the collective. You understand? So you clear out all the stuff in the first 2 strands of DNA, all the lies we've been told through generations. Not that why is it lies? Because they were also in ignorance and denial with us. Make sense? All right. Now what happens after the first 2 strands of DNA? What else is there? Is everyone with me or am I going too fast?
No,
Okay. Is this helping? Yes. All right, good. Okay, so what is beyond the first 2 strands of DNA?
More DNA?
More DNA. So what we actually know scientifically, even over here they're starting to acknowledge it, that there's at least 12 strands of DNA. Actually, I will tell you right now, there's way more than 12, but right now our physical science world does not have a microscope or some kind of fine-tuned instrument to see the etheric non-physical strands. They don't know how to see that yet. But nonetheless, we're working right now, in this reality, we're working on activating the other 10 strands. So when we work through clearing, healing, and resolving that which is in the first 2 strands of DNA, which is all our ancestral baggage, through that process, as we do it, and also as we open up that heart center, and we're living from the heart center, really in that love space, we are able to activate these other strands of DNA. So what's in the other strands? Past lives stored up in there, yes. Yes, you could say that. That's your access of information from your past lives.
Information to activate the other dimensions that we're ascending into.
Yes, that's true. Yes, and higher strands of DNA.
Superpowers.
Yes.
Consciousness of everyone on the planet and access and stuff.
Yes. So what happens, you guys are all right. What happens is in each of our DNA, initially the first few strands after the first 2 are your superpowers. That's where you become a healer and you know it. Oh, Deborah! That's where you become, Deborah GC, yes. So that's where you become a healer. That's where all of your intuitive gifts become online. You're no longer going to another psychic. You don't need another psychic. That's where you can connect with your angels, your helpers, your healers, your guides, your loved ones, your ancestors who have crossed over, etc., masters, teachers, loved ones, etc. All of that stuff starts getting activated. That's where you start to learn really about oneness. You start to know things you didn't know. You can see sounds, lights, colors you never could see. You start having these phenomenal experiences. You know, like suddenly Archangel Michael's coming to you. And after a little while, you're not a believer anymore. Who in this room is a believer? Now you're not going to raise your hand. You're not a believer anymore. What are you?
A knower.
You're a knower. Yes, because once you experience, you know. Nobody can come and take that away from you. So that's what happens in the beginning when we start activating this DNA. But when we move past that even, that's when we start accessing, who said dimensions? Higher dimensions. Because as you access more and more of that DNA is awakened, you can access more and more dimensions because each strand of DNA is effectively like a dimension of consciousness after you get past the first 3 strands. Make sense? So as you're activating more DNA, you're able to access other dimensions of consciousness. Now what's in those other dimensions?
The ability to move between time and space, and there's no discrepancy between each level.
Yeah, I mean, that's an aspect. We have the ability to teletransport. No question. We have the ability to project. Yes, that's absolutely. That actually comes really even sooner. We become very telepathic. We have, what's that?
Self-healing.
Yes, we have all those abilities. And the greatest of all is that here's what is your true divine mission is written into your DNA. Anyone searching for your mission? Let me tell you what your mission is. Number 1, to remember and embody yourself as divine source, creator, God incarnate. Number 2, to follow your joy and your happiness and your love. Number 3, to serve the greater good of yourself and all others with harm to none, doing what you love. That is your job. So stop looking for what am I supposed to do and how am I supposed to work. And instead be, how do I align with the divine source that I am? How do I embody this divine source within me to such a degree that I'm the embodiment of love and joy and happiness? And I just want to be of service in the highest and best ways with harm to none, including yourself. You're not a doormat. You're not here to be shit on. Okay, so, but that's all coded into your DNA because as your DNA gets, you're welcome, as your DNA gets activated, you understand, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, this inspires me, this feels good. And here's the most amazing thing. Anyone having like any financial challenges over here? That's a fun game to play in 3D. Okay. Over here in 5D, when you start really stepping into your divine mission, everything's taken care of for you. You suddenly have a trust fund you didn't know about. Like, really, like contributors come in that weren't there before. It's just amazing because this is what's going to bring me into timelines. Because what we're doing is we're walking, straddling timelines And we don't really understand that. We don't know that because over here we're in ignorance. We don't understand this concept of timelines. So I'm going to clear this up for everybody. Do you guys know what timelines are? Who's heard this concept before? Who feels like they know what it is? Want to give the definition?
Timelines are like other realities that are happening at the same time. And you can buy into a particular timeline, which is your reality and your belief system. Or, you know, you can tune into someone else's reality.
Right. 1 year ago when I met this woman, she didn't know any of this stuff.
It's true.
Been working with her. Okay, so let me tell you, that is exactly right. But here's what a timeline is really. A timeline is a collective of belief systems. There's actually, we could call 3 different kinds of timelines. And this is really good news for Earth. We have a primary timeline. The primary timeline is what we are all on. We're collectively sharing that. All of humanity, whether they know it or not. They could be living in Watts and having a horrible experience, but they're on the primary timeline with us. Think of it like the superhighway, the 405. This primary timeline that we're all on right now is going to our future. So a timeline is a collective group of belief systems where everyone agrees to have similar experience. That is a timeline. So right now we're talking about the collective. The collective, right now, who perceives the future for Earth to be scary or frightening? Or worrisome, concerning, doubtful, concerned about our governments, our lawmakers? Come on, you haven't raised your hand yet. Okay, I'm here to tell you on the primary timeline that is unnecessary. The primary timeline for humanity is that everyone on Earth, this will get me into the waves, is going into a future that is extremely bright, where everyone is coming back into our Creator God consciousness. That the future of Earth, and I am 100% certain on the primary timeline, is a playground for everyone to live as spiritual beings, like a return to the Garden of Eden type of concept. Everyone's in love, everyone's in joy, there's peace, there's harmony, everyone's in 5D and beyond. And still enjoying a physical body. Still enjoying physicality. This is beautiful, right? Is that what we all want? Yes. Okay, that is the primary timeline. Now the only problem is most people don't know this because they're being programmed. I won't go into the whole conspiracy stuff, right? But if you're watching TV and you're believing when someone comes on the news and gives you dark and shadowy stuff, tells you things to be afraid of, this is bad thing, this is that bad thing, you're being programmed, right? We have to deprogram ourselves. So the primary timeline is bright, and what it requires of us is to walk this journey knowing that we are here to clear off our old baggage, just like what we've been talking about, and align with the higher frequencies that are based in those vibrations I've been speaking of today. Make sense? That is a primary timeline. Now, there's secondary timelines. So secondary timelines are subgroups. We're on a secondary timeline too, because you have like people who are on this primary timeline who know it, and we're going through this timeline like, this is so fun, this is so exciting, everyone's waking up, isn't it? I get to be of service, it's such a joy. And there's other people on this, they're having a totally different experience. They don't know they're on this primary timeline. So they're still working through issues of money or worries or anxieties, but they're healing and resolving those, you understand? There's no wrongness in that. It's just that they're on a secondary timeline of their own that's kind of creating this sort of stuff they gotta work through. They're not fully anchored in yet to the primary timeline, even though they're on it. So they have a secondary timeline. We all have secondary timelines. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. A secondary timeline is my unique experience. It's different from your unique experience. You're unique. You're having a unique experience, and your parents, your family members, whoever they are, they might be sharing some of those experiences. That's a secondary timeline, but that's not the collective. You understand? The collective is on the primary. Everyone's on that, whether they know it or not. Secondary is your unique and your unique individuals you're sharing those experiences with. Make sense? Okay. There are tertiary timelines too. Tertiary timelines are timelines that take us off the freeway. Those are not typically very good. Those are usually timelines that are typically persuaded in you, miscreated by you, by an outside force very often who's trying to manipulate you to get off the primary timeline. Think conspiracy is not a theory. Everyone with me on this? Now, those tertiary timelines doesn't mean you can't get back on the freeway, but you get a detour, and it could not be so much fun. Typically. Now, I might not be 100% all accurate on those tertiary timelines because everything is always serving you. So when I say I might not be 100% accurate, what I mean is that they might not be all unpleasant. They could be good. You could take a detour and have like 2 years in Paris, having a joyful experience, but it's kind of like a where maybe you weren't really, but you're still on the primary timeline. So it doesn't mean you get off the primary. The problem is if you don't get back on, if you sort of misalign yourself, you could end up going kind of like a little bit of a wrong way. For example, on a parallel reality, there was a World War III. We're not on that timeline. That's a tertiary, separated timeline. When we call a timeline that breaks off so dramatically, we're talking about what's called, anyone? A bifurcation. Now you're not on the 405 anymore, you're somewhere off in 101 land. How the hell did I end up here? Okay, so this makes sense about timelines, but here's the thing, we don't know. They're all based in vibration because the timeline, the primary timeline is always overall my soul wants to evolve and expand. I want to follow the highest and best journey for me. Remember we said that before. With the highest and best possibilities, most benevolent experiences, I'm going full speed ahead. Even if you get little distractions on the time, you understand, you're on the primary timeline, you're working through your stuff. Everyone with me? Okay, let's talk about waves. Who's heard me talk about waves?
Can I just ask one quick
Yes.
question? So you just made an interesting, on a different timeline, World War III happened. So are there people that are experiencing that in that timeline, or did experience that, or?
Well, here's what I can say about those. We'll use the word negative timelines, because really nothing's negative, they're just experiences. On those other timelines, I don't get a ton of information, and most light workers only get what we need to know to help communicate, because we're not meant to vibe into that. So I don't really know, and I don't really want to know, but what I do understand is that ultimately everyone's in 5D. It's hard to imagine that, because ultimately everyone finds their way to 5D, because we're all going home to that divine source creator consciousness. Even if they physically leave their body and transition into the non-physical, they end up in 5D, beyond 5D, able to access 5D, and come through and pass through all the different realms. That wasn't always afforded to us. We used to be trapped, quarantined, through what we call a matrix, which is now, you've seen the movie The Matrix, right? Which is now, basically that matrix has been lifted as of 2012. Make sense? Okay, so waves, okay. I wouldn't say it that way. A probability is what is a likelihood that you'll end up on a timeline based on your vibration, your frequency, and your consciousness. Make sense? And typically probabilities are just based on what you've created. That's why when a psychic is giving you a prediction, if they're good, if they're accurate, they're picking up on a probability that you already created. That's why sometimes they're wrong, because you can recreate it at any moment. You can change course at any moment through your consciousness. Yes?
What happened in 2012 that the Matrix got
Prior to 2012, this galaxy was segregated because we had a lot of malevolence controlling this galaxy, what I call archontic forces, dark, negative alien agenda. We didn't know it. That's why there's war. That's why there's suffering. That's why there's illness. In this reality, in third dimensional reality, people think that's normal. Do you guys think it's normal to get sick? No. Okay, in here maybe. But it's perceived to be normal. It's like you think it's normal to age. You think it's normal that there's war and fighting. You think it's normal that I'm saying you, but I mean all of us, right? Corruption, that's normal. Oh, they're all crooked. It's normal. It's not normal. But we've been controlled and dominated in this society by what I call a negative alien agenda. And a lot of the alien... Okay, that's a diversion. Sometimes you get lost. That's a trajectory. You don't really want to get lost in that trajectory. You can learn about it, but really, the point is to stay on the superhighway to divine source consciousness. Make sense? Anyway, in 2012, there were prior to 2012, there were many intergalactic meetings, which many star seeds, light workers and especially star seeds, were part of, intergalactically, working with galactic nations and galactic other star family races, to find a way to free us from this quarantine and liberate us. So as of 2012, that was the marker point. Now these malevolent ETs have been escorted out of our reality, but if you go to an alien agenda conference, they don't necessarily know that. Because they're playing on a timeline, a tertiary timeline. They haven't completed or resolved those issues yet. You understand?
Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry. Does that coincide with the Mayan calendar ending at 2000?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay, so I was gonna do waves and I was gonna do something else that was so important that was from your question. What did you, tell me your
Inside
question.
Out.
Wait, can you tell me your question again?
Yeah, my question was that what happened in 2012? that
Oh,
they-
the quarantine, galactic family races. Oh, yeah, so they cleared those negative aliens out. Now we have benevolence here. There's benevolence, but people are still afraid, so they don't interact. If you're based still in fear, they're not gonna interact with you. But they're really benevolent, and we're learning about them, and we're learning about how to interact with them. And for those of us who are really present and working with them, they're our family, they're our star family. We know that, they know that we're their star family. This is why the DNA is so important, just a minute, John. Because in our DNA, we actually have things that they need too. That's why there were abductions prior to 2012 that were not benevolent at all, because they were taking what they needed without even asking. From the DNA, they need the DNA because they don't even have any compassion. You can't make it through past 2012, you become extinct. Greys are extinct. But anyone who still thinks they're alive and they're still playing with them is they're just on a timeline where that's still going on. But they don't have the DNA, they didn't have the compassion to continue, so they had to hybridize. Make sense? Okay. Yes.
Is there the benevolent, negative, lower frequency vibrational alien agenda still present on this planet?
Yes.
They are, okay.
The agenda is still present because it's programmed into the consciousness of humanity, and humans don't know.
Okay.
They don't know that it's playing out. I mean, we have all kinds of alien implants that have to be cleared. That's stuff I do in dark arts training class, exiting the matrix class.
So from the second we become aware, that drops out of our DNA? It just
No,
disappears?
it's more than awareness. Awareness is the first step, very important. You have to do more than awareness. It doesn't, your DNA doesn't get activated because you see the numbers on the clock that say 111. You have to actually work with really super high light frequency, because it's high light frequency from beyond fifth dimension that's going to awaken it, right? So it's not like you just look at it or just become aware. Clearing out alien implants, for example, there's crucifixion implants. Does anyone in the room not believe or perceive that Christ was hung on a cross?
Not believe
Not, well, I mean, wherever you fall on it. Here's the belief system that humanity's holding. Christ was hung on a cross. It's not true. It's an alien implantation called crucifixion implants, and what it really represents is the dark arts, the dark malevolent beings who try to separate us from our creative abilities, separate us from our divine source consciousness, separate us from Mother Earth. We were crucified, but we did it to ourselves. Like, there's no blame here.
Was he
Just the
here?
experience. What's that?
Did he actually come here, Christ?
Yeah, he's a real being.
Okay.
But his name wasn't even Christ.
Oh,
What you
whoever
want to know
it
about Christ is symbolic of who plays with crystals? Crystalline consciousness. The crystals have Christ consciousness. When you're really working with these crystals, they can help you to activate that. They certainly work with crystal grids and beings who work with the crystals, because they have Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ, as we know that being, he had that Christ consciousness, right?
Now, you use the word crystal, and you're talking European language now. Okay, so are you saying, ethnically, this situation is a European type thing too? Because, I mean, a lot of things are coming from, we speak English here because that's the main language here. Is it, I mean, it just seems like everything is connotation is English, European.
Okay, I don't know, there's a program or a belief system in your mind related to English, European. I'm not speaking that language, so I don't understand what you mean by that. But I understand it's something from your perspective that's maybe unique to you. So if you think about your question, see if you can formulate it in a way that makes more sense and I can come back to it. Is that okay?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, because I don't totally understand your question.
Okay.
If you can get it a little clearer.
Not to encourage you to digress even more, if the Lord was crucified, what happened to him?
Okay, that is a digression.
Okay.
That's a big digression. I can't say that but he absolutely knew, as far as I understand, because I have had conversations with Christ, Jesus, Yeshua. He absolutely knew there was a time that humanity would become awakened, and he was holding space for that. And he was allowing and creating that for the future of humanity. He was one of the masters creating that reality for us. That is, it was a factor of why we're here now, waking up. He contributed to that. And he's still working in the non-physical realm, the life of one. Yeah? Okay, let me go to waves. Waves, so important. Let me give you the waves. How am I doing on time? Because I'm now starting to run out, right?
12:15.
Oh my God. Okay, good thing we have an hour here. So, waves. Why is it that some people, like many of the amazing people in this room here, are awake and teaching this stuff, and some people are still over here completely unaware that this is going on? Why is that? Well, we all have implants. We gotta clear them out, right? The reason is that this is happening in waves. So I call it first waivers, second waivers, third waivers, and I'll even go to pre-waivers. So pre-waivers are people like MLK, JFK, Gandhi, John Lennon, even Deepak Chopra, good example of a pre-waiver. Wayne Dyer, those are pre-waivers. It's not like they were doing healing necessarily or actually doing energy work, but they were teaching, they knew it was coming. They laid the platform for us to be able to have conversations like this. You know, they set up expos like this. You know, they were the ones that created that pre-wave foundation. So the first waivers could come in. Now, who are first waivers? First waivers are people like me, many of the people in this room, amazing people, who are working with the non-physical. So we were the ones 10 years ago that everyone was like, these guys are freaking crazy. And we were just working with these star family races, having these abduction experiences that were benevolent for us, working with grids on the earth, unlocking light, working in the pyramids, working in sacred sites, working behind the scenes. You didn't know who we were like, and then all of a sudden somewhere we start to come out from the woodwork. Those are first waivers, because we've been working with the non-physical realm to anchor that light into the physical reality, and at the same time clean up all this muck out of the physical reality and transform it into light. Make sense?
Yeah.
That is what us healers do. That's what we do. Can you make some pictures too? Maybe I'll get from back here somewhere. Justine, do you have a camera back there? Good to have some for that.
I'll take them for you.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so, yeah, okay, so that's first waivers. Now, second waivers are now starting to wake up. Second waivers started to wake up right around 2012. So most of the people in this room a lot of the people are second waivers. You're coming online. You're still walking around the masses the same way we have, but now it's kind of like a little bit of an easier journey because the ground has been laid. But at the same time, you know, you're interacting. It's challenging because you're interacting with people who think this is all woo-woo crazy stuff, and you're out there and you're like, yeah, I don't really want to eat chemicals anymore. I don't want chemtrails in my skies anymore. I don't want fluoride in my water anymore. I don't want genetically modified foods anymore. Get Monsanto out. You understand? Yeah. So you're interacting on a more physical level, but you're still taking all of this information to the third waivers who are still completely asleep. Don't know what's going on, right? So what third waivers? These are the people we are always worried for. Afraid's the wrong word maybe, but we're like worried about our loved ones, right? Yeah. How do we help our loved ones, right? Because they're completely asleep, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that. First of all, did we address that a little with the DNA? Yeah. With the healing? Because when we heal for ourselves, we can actually, when we're working with a healer who really knows what they're doing and who's fully anchored in 5D, we can heal for our ancestors generations back. This is like healing humanity, right? Without ever touching or bothering them or interfering with their free will, by the way. Ways that are in alignment with divine source integrity. That's one of the things we can do. The other way we are helping our third waiver friends is by just being our greatness. See, once we start taking those risks, because we're learning about them in here, second waivers start embodying it, just start doing it, just start saying, I'm going to go for my love, I'm going to go for my joy, I'm not going to buy into that fear. You know what, I refuse to get that immunization. I refuse to buy that genetically modified food. Hey, grocery store clerk, can you please make sure you stop buying Monsanto products? Can you please start buying more organics, etc.? Those are second waivers going in the world and making things change. School system, this is not okay. We want a better school system. I'm pulling my kid out of the school system. I'm going to find homeschooling. Like, those are how we're doing it in the second wave. But why are third waivers so important? This is why we cannot judge the third waivers. This is really important. Because we go to judgment of them. Why?
Because
Critical mass.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. If they motivate you, that's awesome. I mean, I hope the light motivates you, that you're motivated by the light rather than the shadow.
I'm motivated by helping those.
Oh, all right, that's awesome. Yes, you're motivated to be of service. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They keep us busy, they give us work to do.
It's more important than that.
Is there something in the vehicle of our compassion for them?
Well, we learn compassion for ourselves from them. We learn compassion from them. But here's why. Imagine if everybody woke up all at once and suddenly nobody wanted to hold any of the infrastructure in place. How the F would we survive? So they're holding the structure in place until we don't need it anymore. Until enough of us wake up and say, I just don't need that anymore. We need them. We're not ready for the banks to collapse, are we? I mean, people aren't okay, well, you see Bitcoin coming up and others like this new currencies. That is the future, right? If you want to invest, find a good, as a predictor, that's important. 5 years ago, I started telling people invest in hemp. Now they're all rich. Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, the others like it. The reason it collapsed is because Saturn, I'm not going to go into astrology, is saying it's not strong enough yet. I want you to get really strong. There's no question, all those old structures are going to collapse or transform to align with the new way we're going, because we're all on the superhighway. But it has to happen benevolently. That's why we need those third waivers. You understand? So we can be grateful to them. Thank God, without them, we'd all be in chaos. People were afraid of chaos. Remember, for those of you new, prior to 212, we were all afraid we were going to go to chaos. What's going to happen? They're anchoring in the old reality as we all benevolently, in our own divine timing, shift. Make sense? Yeah. Who was going to? Okay. All right, what else am I missing here? And then
Inside out.
Are there only,
okay, inside out. Let's do that. So good.
real quick, are there only 3 waves?
Basically, yeah. The third wave starts to get more triggered. Like right now, they're waking up to, oh, the government is maybe corrupt. Maybe I should maybe get organics. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be eating McDonald's every day. Or maybe it would help if I actually was a little kinder to the animals.
Every year.
Oh, they start to really get, thank you. They start to really, will start to awaken more. Thank you, Deborah. I love you so much. 2020. 2020 is a grand alignment. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, but when I say start to awaken, you know, they're going to take, it's slow, it's gradual. Right? I mean, you're starting, barely starting to a little bit awaken now, right? 2020 is a grand alignment. It is a big to-do, and it's good. Do not get swayed when astrologers start telling you fear-based things, because they don't know. They're still, astrologers a lot of times still operating 3D, 4D, maybe 4D. It could still be 3D. You look at the planets and be in 3D. So it's just a perspective. Right? You always want to be finding what's going to be light. If it feels light, it's right. If it feels good and light, it's right. It doesn't mean deny what feels a shadow. It doesn't mean judge. The moment you deny it, judge, resist it, react it, now you're entangled in a boxing fight. You start getting a boxing fight, now you're playing at that frequency. There's nothing wrong here. It's just simply choice. I don't think I want to choose that anymore. Make sense? Yeah, I don't really need to play with that. Yeah, I'm not interested. If you're entangled, there's something for you to, if you're resisting, reacting, or judging, there's something for you inside of you to clear, heal, or resolve. It's not the other person, they're just helping you to see your own shadow. Make sense?
No, sometimes making a choice is choosing the lesser of 2 evils.
That's a perspective.
That's perspective.
Test, see, this is why it's so important to learn the universal laws. Because you can test everything against the universal law. Once you, thank you, once you know the laws, you can say, is this a universal law? And if it's not, it's just a perspective that can be changed. Would you like to change that for a better one?
Yes.
Yes, good. So let's just clear that out. And let's just rechange it, align it with divine source consciousness, and give you source consciousness with respect to that. Download it and instill it within your consciousness. Make your consciousness one and the same as creator. So you're willing to receive that? Yes. Just breathe, John. I know you know what it is, so notice whatever you notice is fine. Good. So simple. You can't see the non-physical stuff happening, but it doesn't matter because it's consciousness. I'm just making a slight shift. Source is doing it, right?
I have a question about animals. Like you mentioned, being kinder to animals. So how do you? I guess I have a hard time understanding. Like, people are cruel to animals. Are you supposed to be helping them? And like Facebook is always feeding you animal things.
If Facebook is feeding you animal pain and suffering, delete the friend. That is a trajectory that the animals always say, please do not perpetuate our pain and suffering. Please don't make it worse by talking about all of our pain and suffering. Please don't get involved in our pain and suffering because you're just going to add pain and suffering. It's unbelievable. The worst animal abusers, I'm sorry to say, are animal lovers who get involved in the pain and suffering of animals. We don't know it. We are in this third dimensional reality.
We want to work to change it.
Yeah, work to change it. Awesome. How do you do that?
Quit eating them.
Quit focusing on it.
First of all, let me just say this. This is like one of my mantras. If you're not happy, you're not helping. So I'm not telling you to be in denial. I'm telling you to anchor into the frequencies of happiness. You have to find a sacred neutral in there, which we haven't gotten to that. But that's 0 point stillness, where you're not pulled in or plugged into anything. From that neutral zone, you can make incredible change. But let's just go back. We've said this today. Start telling the field what you want. Now, this is inside out living. Okay, I haven't gotten there yet. How do we make the change? Start working on healing and resolving anything and everything in you that may have in any way, shape, or form, known or unknown to you, that contributed to that pain and suffering of animals. Everywhere you have had pain or suffering. Everywhere you thought painful suffering thoughts. Everywhere you felt painful suffering emotions. Everywhere you created it within someone else. That perpetuates pain and suffering. That's how you heal it. Go to healers. This is what healers do. This is what we do. Do meditation. Practice actual conscious manifestation, where you're envisioning a world where animals are treated with kindness and benevolence. Tell the field. This is what we're going to go into next. Outside and living, and then we're going to do the healing. This is what I'm going to say. Stay with me. So, what we've been doing in 3D is we've been living from the outside in. Does anyone understand this concept? If you saw me on the panel, you would have heard me say this yesterday. Outside in living is where we make the outside reality more powerful than what's inside. We think we are victims of the outside reality. Right? This is what 3D is. This is what everything we were talking about. So when we're living from the outside in, we're being reactive. Well, we'll see what's going to happen. How many times have you said that?
Right.
That's outside in living. Let's see what's going to... When I get there, I'll be happy. That's like... what you're waiting for that to make you happy, but you're actually inside out living, you just don't know it. So whenever the outer reality is something that you're responding to, as if it was created by something outside of you, you're living from the outside in. Does this make sense? You're letting your life be controlled, dictated, and mandated by the outer reality. Oh, I got cancer. That's outside in living. I got cancer because of chemtrails. I got cancer because of radiation in the air. I got cancer because I got this disease because I ate something bad, or because of the toxic chemicals, or
Heavy metals.
heavy metals. My tooth fell out because I ate too much sugar. That's all outside in living. Who has allergies in the room? Outside in living, living outside. Allergies. You believe something outside of you is creating your experience. What are you allergic to? Something outside of you. Outside in living. Understand this concept?
Yeah.
So anything outside of you that you are reacting to is outside in living. You're smiling. You're so funny there. You have like some inner knowing of your own. So you're outside in living. The outer reality is dictating your reality. That's how everybody lives in 3D. You're a victim. That's victim-victimizer consciousness. I'm a victim of my outer reality. I'm a victim of my allergies, whatever, right? Okay, wait and see approach. That's all outside in living. I could spend hours talking about that, but we don't really have that time. Over here, we shift through this process to inside-out living. So inside-out living is, I am the creator that is creating through the combination of my thoughts and my emotions, which create electrical and magnetic energy, which emanates from me. I am the creator, emanating everything that is created outside and around me on my singular personal timeline, which is my own holographic creation, my own reality. I am the creator of that reality, and everything that is showing up in my reality, with the exception of other creator individual beings who are creating their reality, who I might interact with, is emanating from me. Law of emanation, law of creation, radiation, law of radiation. These are universal laws radiating out from me. Circulating around in the field around me. Law of circulation, universal law. As this circulates around in the field around me, it attracts back to me, because I am the attractor, law of attraction. And I am therefore the creator of my reality. This is inside-out living. Make sense? So if I have an allergy or a disease, I have to look within me where I created it. If it wasn't from this lifetime, maybe it's a baby born with it. It's from another lifetime. It's linked into my ancestors. It's written in my DNA. If I'm working with someone who can clear the DNA, that's part of what I do. I clear that out. I am the creator of this reality. Now, we'll come back to your question. How do I help animals? Who wants to help anything in the world? Any change you want to make for the better in the world cannot be about a single person where you control, dominate, or manipulate them. That will anchor you in here. Start working as a creator being. The field around you is responding to you. You just don't know it over here. We don't know it here. But over here, we're creators. The field is coming from us, the creator. Our thoughts and our emotions are electrical magnetic energy circulating around, emanating from us, creating out here in the non-physical realm of fourth dimensional consciousness, because we're physical beings with physical time, space, light, and sound, emanating and creating. So, you want to help animals? Command the field with respect. I command this field of intelligence now. I command this field to clean up these waters now. Bless, cleanse, bathe, purify, harmonize, divinitize with the love and light of divine source all the waters of the earth. Let it be done now. I command it. Thank you. Oh,
So good.
thank you. But let me say, I do this on a daily basis. I command the field of intelligence now that every animal on this planet, humans, animals, plants, minerals, included, even though they're not all animals, please, right here, right now, this is commanded. Treat all animals with compassion. Free us. Liberate us. We liberate ourselves now from enslavement. We liberate ourselves. Bring consciousness to all of humanity. This is commanded field. Hear me now. I'm a creator. I'm the creator of this reality. I do it with force. I'm not entangled in it. I'm just doing it. I'm just saying it, then I let it go. What else? That's all I can do. You can do that. Walk through the grocery store. Command organics. Command healthy food. Go to the beach. Command that the waters are clear. Command that the earth is blessed. Command you're so powerful. Command that the animals are treated with respect, dignity, kindness, and compassion. All animals, including humans. We have so much power, we just don't know it. The field will bend and conform to us. And the only time it won't bend and conform is if somewhere within us we have some kind of hook or cord or attachment or entanglement over here that we still need to work out. It's not that the field's not responding. It's saying, oh, but I don't want to quite do that for you yet just because I want, this is part of your soul contract. Just clean this out. You're too entangled over here to have to do that just yet. Or you need to learn something or heal something. You see what I'm saying? But it always works. If you want to do it for your personal life, command the field. Command the field to bring you your happiest, most joyful, most fulfilling life with harm to none. Stop attaching to it, the when, the where, the how. Just tell the field, this is what I want. Show me. We're so powerful. Make sense? Yes?
So if you have an entanglement with
Yeah,
an
go ahead.
emotional attachment to an issue, can you clear it on your own? How do you clear it? Do you
Oh my
need a
God.
healer?
You can clear things on your own when you have the
for an
tools.
issue to come up, and then you're like, okay, this is that thing I
Never
need to
wait.
clear.
Never wait. Do it now. Don't wait. Because that's why people get overwhelmed too much and then it turns into disease if you don't address it. Because eventually the physical body will say, you waited too long, now I really need your attention. You're going to get sick. You're going to have a broken leg to put you in bed. You're going to have this, you're going to have that. So don't wait. Because the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. And that's what causes physical, emotional, mental dis-ease. Never wait. But can you do it for yourself? Yes, of course you can do it for yourself. The question is, do you have the tools? Do you know how yet? Or are you able to see your own blocks? That's what I'm a freaking fabulous healer, intuitive, psychic. I still work with a third-party neutral person once a week. Why? Because I want someone to see what I might be blocked on myself. I'm not willing to play the game of smallness and mediocrity anymore. Are you? Do you guys want to keep playing mediocrity? No. So mediocre, this reality. Yes. I didn't come here to play mediocre. I'm like so tired of being mediocre, right? We have so much more to offer. So, all right, so I hope that addresses that. Now let me just, okay, I want to say we're going to do the healing now. I wish I could cover, oh, it's 1:11. right, now, I'm gonna tell you before we do this healing, a couple quick things. Number one, if you did not put your email address, anyone not who wants to, because we're gonna share with you some amazing gifts, so, okay, can I have a human who helps me pass that? Otherwise, somebody will. Yeah, I feel like if I keep going with questions, I won't get to the meditation.
It's not a question, it's just confirmation. I don't know all this. This is my first time, but I experienced it. Me and a friend was getting on 2 different planes. She missed that last plane, and I don't know why I went all the way up from one terminal back to another terminal. I don't know. Now I know why. Then we got to the United, and she didn't have a ticket. She was doing a buddy thing, you know. And so I asked her, like, I said, she missed her flight. We need to get on this flight. And she didn't have a ticket. The lady put us on the plane in first class, and I just didn't. I told my friend, don't say nothing to me, because you don't do that, right?
Yes, that's awesome.
And I couldn't understand why I went from one terminal to another terminal, but I had to wait till everybody got on the plane. Now I understand that she couldn't do that with her co-workers there and everything. She just put us on the plane.
Yeah, awesome.
In first class.
Universal for you. I want to just tell you one thing about this, and then we're going to do the meditation. Understand that we're now, when you're anchored more fully into 5D, there is just not a lot of negativity that can happen here. So all those fears, this frequency does not support negativity. When I say negativity, that word in and of itself is a judgment word, but these things that we're so afraid of, they can only happen at this fear-based frequency. So over here, you're not going to have bad things happen to you. They're not supported. They will collapse right away. So if you have a disagreement with a person, you'll suddenly find like, oh, that project ended. It just didn't work out. Nothing harmful, detrimental, painful. It really just doesn't get supported here. It collapses right out. Any fear that you have about your life, you don't have to have it here because it will not materialize in this field. But you have to be anchored into 5D. Understand? Okay. Let me tell you, for the person who asked, do I have this written down? First, I think we handed some of these out, but afterwards you can come up and get this. This is how you can get free gifts. I will tell you now. You don't have to take the flyer if you don't want. If you go to lauriespagna.com/free gifts, you will get some free gifts right away on your own that are available on the website. They're all listed here. Some of them are the science of being psychic, what is the dormant DNA good for, improve your animal communication telepathy, be of service to animals on a ground scale, and what is a light worker. That's at lauriespagna.com/free gifts. You can get those free gifts. Or you can also wait for the newsletter, but we won't send you those. We're going to send you other ones that are even more progressive and fun. Now, for those of you who really want a good anchoring into the work that I do, and you want to do more of this, even if you're on a budget, what I have is a sacred membership group. It's a full year access to my entire library of work. So if you like what you're getting here,
Yes.
it's so rich, it's so full, it's full of DNA activations, healing stuff for animals, it's tons of meditation, it's extremely progressive, and yet it's really great for people who are starting too, because it has it's a library of work that spans 10 years, and a lot of the stuff is sacred key code activations that are as recent as the last few months, so it's great content. If you're interested in that, you would go to my website, lauriespagna.com, under the Sacred Membership Group. You'll see it, and I will give you a $100 coupon off for today if you want it for this weekend. If I can find it, I hope. I think it's SAVE. Yes, this is for the membership, and this is where there's PDFs, there's ebooks. My ebooks are in there. I have a book on animal communication telepathy. I have an ebook on superfoods for you and your pets with all the links to the best pet foods. It's such a good membership. I can't even tell you. It's got everything on the ETs. It's just so much content in there. You will be astounded. It's well over 100 hours of content, plus PDFs, ebooks, everything, and you have access to it for a full year. Expo SAVE. The word SAVE is all capital. $100. Expo, capital EXPO, SAVE, all capitals, SAVE, $100. You save $100. The annual membership is typically $333. I can tell you it's valued at well over $7,500. Like, I can't even put a value on it, right? But anyway, you can save with that coupon $100 off the annual rate of $333. Make sense? This weekend only.
Are any of your talks on like YouTube or anything just to like listen to?
Yes, you can get DNA activations from me right here at the expo on YouTube. There's tons of great stuff on YouTube, and we're going to do a lot more this year. You can see a lot of stuff on YouTube. Okay. Also, just last thing, then let's do the meditation before we lose time. We're already down to like low time. This has a list of all of my classes, right? The classes are online. When you take them, you study them at home, but you also end up getting access to live Q&A with me. And these classes, you can just take a look at them because they are only available at limited times when I offer them publicly. But if you want to learn more about all my classes that I offer, like Exiting the Matrix and Dark Arts Training, it's all on here. I have a whole school of enlightenment, transformation, and energy healing. I have a school of animal communication and telepathy, locating lost animals, the works. These are the classes. So you can take that after we close, okay? And my business cards are up here too for you guys. So once we do this meditation, we are going to find that we're a little airy. I got 15 minutes to do this. Wow, I'm gonna have to speed through it. So anyway, if you're in it now for the next 15 minutes, you're in it. Yeah, you're in it? Yeah. Please don't open the door while we're in it. And I want to just thank you so much, you guys, for being here, because I am so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful that we're all together. All right, so, do we have light dimmer ability or no? Maybe that's a little too much. Also, because this will probably be on YouTube at some point, so you'll be able to do this meditation again. It's nice they can see something. That's good. All right, let's get everybody dropping down now into your belly center. So get yourself really calm. Take some deep, comfortable breaths in through the nose, down into the belly. You'll see these meditations with me are not these woo-woo floaty ones. We want to anchor you into your body, and we want to pull divine source consciousness in. So it's not like we're going to go floating, and we're not going to be in la-la land. We're pulling in consciousness. We're aligning with source. Take deep, full, rich, comfortable breaths in through your nose. Feel the breath as it comes in and travel it down with your mind. Let your eyes close whenever you feel safe and comfortable to do so. And feel the breath as it comes into your body. Let your mind connect with your breath. Deep, full, rich, comfortable breaths. Let the mind feel the breath. Follow the breath with the mind. Begin to identify this breath that you're breathing in now with the highest, clearest, purest frequencies of love. That actually what you're breathing in right now is love. The frequencies and the energies of love are invading your body as you breathe them in. Feel them with your mind. Now travel this breath of love in through the nose. Follow the breath. Follow the love. Feel it as it goes to the center of your brain. Breathing straight back to the center of the brain. And somewhere in the center of your brain, you're just breathing comfortably, but you're just letting your consciousness be with me. In the center of your brain lies the cave of Brahman, which stores your pineal gland and your pituitary gland, master glands. Breathe love in through this part of your brain. Let your brain be fused, filled with this love. Circle this love into the brain. There's no way to do this wrong. Trust yourself. Your breath, your consciousness knows exactly where these master glands are. Third eye opening up through the breath. Breathe it in. Now follow the breath with your mind down into the throat. Just stay with me here. Nothing to do right or wrong. You just get on wherever you can. Just stay with it. Breathe the breath of love into the throat. Feel the throat expand as best as you can. Just breathe full, rich, comfortable breath into that throat. Love breath. Beautiful blue, authentic speaking, authentic truth, filling up the breath of the throat with love. Now travel a big, full breath down into the chest. Fill up the chest cavity with love. Feel the love expand that breath of the love around your chest. Breast, heart, back, lungs. Filling it up with love. Feel the love in the heart center as you breathe it in. Travel it down now into the belly center. We're just priming you right now. This is just the early part. Travel with your mind the breath into the belly and feel that belly center fill up with love. Feel all of the organs of the belly, all of the spine, all of the mid-back, all of the belly center, pancreas, liver, kidneys, every part of your body, in that belly center, filling up with beautiful yellow love, personal empowerment, self-confidence, self-courage, certainty. Feel certain as you breathe in that love. You're just breathing love. You know exactly where to go. No wrongness, right into your core. Now with your mind's awareness, travel the love down into the reproductive center. Put some love right in your center of creation. Beautiful orange love. Breathe love into all the organs of that area of your body, reproductive organs. Allowing yourself to feel and sense that divine masculine and the divine feminine within you, uniting in creation, masculine creation, feminine existence, just being your divine sacred self, breathing in love. Now travel it down into the buttocks, seat of the earth, connected to Mother Earth. Feel your safety. You are connected to the earth. Breathe love into that buttocks. Feel that area of that body. With your breath, just getting yourself relaxed. That's all we're doing right now. And now with that love, I want you to drop it down from your tailbone through the floor beneath you. There's no way to do this wrong. You're just dropping it down like a cord of love. Drop it all the way down through the floor beneath you, through layers and layers of this building, until you hit the earth. Go down deep into the earth. There's no wrong way. You just keep breathing, seeing, sensing, feeling love, dropping into the earth, and go through the core of the earth. So layers and layers of the earth, through dirt and rocks and minerals and sand. You're just seeing, sensing, feeling. Whatever you do is fine, no wrongness. And drop down until you see, sense, feel, imagine, or be with some crystalline core in the center of the earth. See, sense, feel, or imagine huge crystal in the middle of the earth. That's what is in the middle of the earth, crystals. Wrap your love in and through this earth. Mother Earth Gaia, the crystalline core, the Christ consciousness. Just wrap your love, breathing your love in and through that middle earth. Now breathe that love back up. See, sense, feel, or imagine, no way to do it wrong. This love is now coming up from the center of the earth, the crystalline consciousness, rising up from the center of the earth, up, 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 through the floor beneath you until you feel it rising up, back up your legs. Breathing love, now you're feeling a little lighter, that's all good, nice and good. And feel it rise up into the buttocks. Just remind your buttocks, your love. Breathe some more loving. And now rise it up into the reproductive center. Breathe some love in. No way to do it wrong. Rise it up now into the belly center. Breathe some more love in. Love and peace. Love is your healer. Breathe it up into the heart center. Just feeling the heart center with all that love. Rise it up into the throat center. Feel, sense, see, imagine. Throat center. Filling up with love. Expanding around you. No way to do it wrong. Rise it up now into the center of the brain once again. Breathe beautiful love straight into the center of the brain, awakening your inner knowing, loving all versions of you, all aspects of you. Now, I want you to breathe this love to the top of the brain. At this point, I just want you to feel the very top of your brain underneath your scalp. Just feel it with your mind. When you feel it, you'll start to know you're still breathing love. You're going to feel a lot of you are there, you're going to feel a little tingling maybe, or maybe a little tightness, maybe a little pressure, or maybe a little expansion. Whatever you feel is fine. Just keep looking for, with your mind, the very top of your brain, under your scalp. And just feel that place for a little while. And keep breathing there, just breathing love to the very top of your brain. Once you really feel that sense, I want you to reach even further. Just keep breathing. Reach as if you're going up, up, up towards the highest, clearest, purest light, beyond the stars, beyond the planets, beyond the sun. Go just up, 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 past, beyond any kind of existence that you're aware of, to the highest, clearest, purest consciousness, divine source, creator, infinite love, infinite light. There's no way to do it wrong. You just keep breathing, feeling, sensing, reaching, energetically, intending. Breathe it in, and keep breathing. And if you get lost, go back to the top of your brain. And just keep feeling for the top of your brain. And from this place, let's just have divine source, creator, God of all that is. You're just breathing, and you're going to give your consent. Just breathing and receiving. And let's have divine source, creator, God. You'll give your consent after I say it, and you just keep breathing. Divine source, creator, God, instill within you and within every cell of your body and being that which you're meant to know, see, perceive, realize, understand, accept, allow, embrace, acknowledge, forgive, release, transmute, whatever you're meant to receive at this now moment, that is for your highest and greatest good, the highest and best expression of yourself, and that which you receive will be with and from divine source consciousness, creator's consciousness. And will bring your consciousness into alignment with the divine as it relates to this. Now this is the time you just say in your mind, yes, thank you. Breathe and receive. Creator will give you a healing. And you just breathe and receive. You notice whatever you notice, even if you think you're noticing nothing. That's fine, just let it be. Breathe, receive. Let me get out of the way here. Yes. So you're just breathing and receiving, noticing whatever you notice. You may notice nothing, that's fine. There it goes, nice. This download, we call it a download, is going to expand your consciousness in the next 7 to 10 days. Allow yourself to receive it. You're not going to notice necessarily even that much this moment. It's fine. We'll expand into your consciousness. Good. Next thing we're going to do here now, this is just guidance coming in from the higher realms here now, offering you an opening for your heart center, activating more of your heart-centered opening here and now, the magnetism, that which you so desire to help you and to assist you as you embody more of your Christ consciousness self, your divine source self in body. So we're going to open up the heart center and recall back all fragmented aspects of yourself. We'll do that next. Sorry. Thank you. So if you'd like to have your heart center activated and opened, even just a little more, just to help you more embody in the heart center. This is the time. Breathe and receive. Nothing to do, just simply with your mind. You say thank you, breathe and allow. Notice whatever you notice. Melchizedek's here. Merlin. 4 M's. Master. Yes, here are the 4 M's, Michael. And I'm putting them on hold for a second because there was something I was meant to do first. Just keep breathing, receiving, because I'm just taking direction here, right? Okay, good, I've got that. And the first thing was? Okay, good, fragmented souls. So let's call back all aspects of your fragments, the fragmented souls of you, aspects of your soul that are just fragmented from you, returning home to you, reunited into yourself. And as we do this, let's have source, divine source, creator of all that is, cleanse, bless, bathe, purify, harmonize, and divinitize every aspect of your soul self as it is returned to you, the rightful owner, your soul self, returned to you. First, cleanse, bless, bathe, purified, harmonize, and divinitize in the love and light of divine source, creator God, and return to you with consciousness, with creator's consciousness attached. Are you willing to receive this? Now you just breathe and receive. If you want to, you say, yes, thank you. Breathe. And you just notice whatever you notice, even if you think it's nothing, that's fine. The ego might think it's nothing. Source knows. There we go. Nice. This is coming really nice. Yes. Breathing and letting yourself feel, sense, see, imagine, whatever that might be is fine. Nice. These aspects of your soul fragments return home to you where they rightfully belong now. Yes. Nice, good. Okay, I got the joy tap on my shoulder. We're done and complete with this for now. 4 M's. Archangel Michael, Lord Melchizedek, Merlin, Metatron, 4 M's coming together now in service. So what they like to do is give you some activations. They're asking, please put your palms up. If you would like this, you will hear the words before it's done. Okay, so what they're going to do, Metatron stepping forward first. So Metatron is an archangel. He is most benevolent in this frequency. And what he'd like to do is go and to your palms, you will feel and sense this in your palms, predominantly perhaps the palm that you're, not to get lefty, he says don't get analytical. Okay, thank you. So he's going to put a Metatronic seal in your hand. And what this means is when you touch other people, there will be sparks of divinity. Whether you're conscious of it or not is irrelevant, and whether they're conscious of it or not is irrelevant. But this will assist you. With your palms will be healing palms for those you touch and embrace. This is only in service to the greater good of all beings involved, with harm to none, as always. If you're willing to receive this, breathe. Put your attention on your hands. He's working with you as individuals and in the collective as well. And we'll be able to move on because simultaneously, Melchizedek will do the same. Lord Melchizedek of the Melchizedek order stepping forward as well. Similar thing, putting a similar stamp the Melchizedek order on your palm. You're not going to see this, you just maybe will feel it. Breathe and receive. You give your consent. If you don't want it, you just say no thank you, that's all. Good. As this is continuing, we're going to do angel wings. I got 5 minutes. Angel wings, so Michael, thank you. Archangel Michael is going to help you to activate and awaken your etheric wings. Etheric wings are stored in 2 chakras, higher level chakra, energy centers behind the shoulder blades. You're breathing, you're receiving, you're listening, you're aware. If you would like for these to be open, here's what you're going to do. Put your breath's attention on the back of the shoulder blades, left and right. You may feel your shoulders stretch out a bit. Nothing crazy here. You still want to keep your palms up because the Melchizedek is still working with you, as is Metatron. So let's just open up these back. Now, when you activate the etheric wings, you simply start to feel a lightness. It helps you to feel lighter. It helps you to elevate yourself out of dense, heavy situations with more ease and grace and benevolence. You're not going to see the wings, but you're opening these energy centers. So just breathe. Feel and sense the back of your shoulders. And Archangel Michael is helping with this, facilitating this for those of you who give consent. If you don't want it, that's fine. You say no thank you. Just a few moments of this, and then we'll complete with this healing. Jesus here. Yeshua's here too. He's just facilitating. And of course, they would do so much more with us, but we are limited in time, linear time here. So, just breathing, receiving, noticing, and allowing. Yes. Okay, good, nice. A few more moments and we'll complete. You're just breathing into those shoulder areas, allowing it to be done. Just noticing, just being present. Good. Nice. Really integrating. One thing we're going to just complete with today before we complete, and that is that divine source, creator, God of all that is. It's hard to imagine that they could do it that fast, but really it's so etheric, it's done. So, divine source, creator, God of all that is, this will be the final we do for today, will instill within you and within every cell of your body and being its consciousness, its truth, its point of view, its PUD, perspective, understanding, and definition, on how truly, deeply loved you are, and how truly, deeply love you embody, the deep, full richness of the love that you are and that you be, that you have, and that is you, the embodiment of you. All of this within from divine source consciousness instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being. If you're willing to receive this now, bringing you into alignment with divine source as it relates to this topic area, please say yes, breathe and receive.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Good. I don't want you to be floaty when we come out of this. So what I want you to do is just expand all this love in every direction around you. There's no way to do it wrong. You're just expanding because you're so expansive. You are infinity embodied. That's kind of a contradiction, but at the same time it's true. And so what we're just going to do, you're not going to think it, see it, sense it, feel it, you're going to know it. That gold, and I'm not talking about golden light, gold, perfect alchemy gold is just around you. Your body, a ball of gold. See it, sense it, know it, it's done. That's it, it's done. Gold. Now I want you to come back into this body. All this light, it's not floating out there, it's in you. Pull it in, feel your body, pull this in. You may feel, you may even choose, just pull it in, get in your body now. Just form into your body, come into that form. All that, it's in you. It's not out there, it's in you. Just come into your body, pull it in, touch your body, feel your body. So just come back fully present, tap your body, be the embodiment of everything you've just received. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, how you guys doing? Great.
Good.
All right, I want to tell you something about blue. This is the thing, what you just got, just started. So you think that was nice? I hope you do, and that's awesome, that makes me happy. But I promise you, this is nothing, nothing. What you got over the next week, 2 weeks, your life will be forever changed for the better. You're gonna start having new awarenesses, new epiphanies, new knowings. And it's just the beginning. It's not nearly enough. It's 5 minutes. 5 minutes can't resolve 26,000 years of living. It's not a deal. But it is something that's going to radically shift and change you for the better forever, I promise you. So let it work. Don't doubt that it worked because then you created something else. Let it work. Divine Source does its work. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much.